Okay, so before we jump into the deep, juicy analysis of this film, oh my god, let's just... oh my
It's
god,
so
it
good,
was
man.
so good.
It's like...
so good.
It actually is just the best. Like
One of the best action films of all time.
It's genuine. Oh, I can't even like...
Some of the best sequences in cinema I've ever seen.
I can't...
Couldn't wipe the smile off my face. This film is so magic. So we have just seen MI6, and no, it is not a documentary about the British intelligence agency. No, this is Mission Impossible 6, isn't it?
Mission Impossible. MI6 is in this movie.
MI6 is in film. Is in the film. The film is actually called Mission Impossible Fallout, but it is the 6th film in the Mission Impossible franchise, and we have Christopher McQuarrie returning to direct this film after doing Rogue Nation. He is actually the first and only director to return to direct 2 films in the franchise.
Yeah, he's done 2 of them now.
That's interesting, because Tom Cruise likes getting fresh blood. Not this time.
Are you saying Tom Cruise is a vampire?
I might be.
He was at some point.
Didn't he do that film where he was a vampire?
Yeah.
What was
that
it
was
called?
the joke. Thank you for explaining it.
Yeah, but what was it called?
Interview with a Vampire. And look, the best way of explaining how good this film is that I walked into it with a cold. I was sick walking into this film. And after walking out of it, my cold was cured. I am cured. That is how good it is.
Ladies and gentlemen, you can cure a cold.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. What we witnessed with this movie is nothing short of a miracle. I have no issue with saying straight up that this is the best action film I have seen since Mad Max Fury Road.
And I have no issue in saying this is one of the best action films of all time.
Yeah, look, we can go to those lengths. In this film, you're going to get that usual Mission Impossible thing, and I think the less you know about this story going into it, the better, because it twists and turns in an incredibly creative and in very exciting ways. I think this movie probably has more twists and turns than pretty much every other Mission Impossible film has had across the entirety of the franchise. There's a lot going on in this movie. There's a lot of characters, a great cast of characters. As much as it is all about the action, that action would not have much weight if we didn't care about the characters. So let's talk about them first.
And first up, we have the man on the mission himself, Ethan Hunt, played by Tom Cruise. And I mean, my goodness, Ethan Hunt basically is Tom Cruise. The man just has so much fun with this role. I mean, he bloody broke his ankle for the film. I mean, how much more can he give?
Yeah.
And he has given such a fantastic performance here that is really, really quite heartfelt, very emotional at times, and you can just see he has so much fun. He really finds the adrenaline that this film gives him whilst acting, and it shows.
He really embodies this character. Like, it really is a great kind of vehicle for Tom Cruise to go and do a bunch of really crazy things. And he does go to some very emotional territory in this movie. The movie goes to some very emotional territory by calling on things that have happened in this franchise in the past. Can I just say that my life goal is to age as well as Tom Cruise?
Yeah.
Like, this dude is like in his late 50s now doing this stuff.
And looking this good.
Yeah, what? And the rest of the cast is utterly fantastic as well. It's a lot of the best work we've seen from a lot of the players throughout the series so far, including Simon Pegg, Ving Rhames, Alec Baldwin returns here and does some fantastic stuff. We also have Rebecca Ferguson returning as kind of the wild card, Isla Forst, which is just, her name is bizarre, but let's run with it. Rebecca Ferguson's character here returns, does some amazing stuff. Also want to give a shout out to Sean Harris, who has returned as the villain from the previous film. He's in this one again, and he just... he's good at what he does.
He is an absolute force of nature. He's such an incredible actor, and he carries so much power on screen.
Really elevated as a villain here. Like, he really is one of the great kind of blockbuster villains now.
He's absolutely fantastic. And alongside that cast, we also have a few newcomers, including Vanessa Kirby, Angela Bassett, and Henry Cavill. And all 3 of them deliver exactly what they need to be doing. And I'm going to make special mention here to 2 people that I absolutely adored. Henry Cavill, because, I mean, the man is Superman, and he delivers quite a fine performance here. One that is quite new.
Really physical and really kind of solid, yeah.
And just fun. And Vanessa Kirby, who is an acclaimed actress through Britain and has worked with the National Theatre Company quite a fair bit. She is a force of freaking nature.
Yeah.
My goodness, this girl is going to go far. Just wait a few more years. She only has a small role here, but she is fantastic.
So the characters and the actors that play them are all fantastic, right? But we come to Mission Impossible films to see what the filmmaker's going to put those characters through. And I have to say here, we weren't big fans of Rogue Nation at the time. On a rewatch, we were wrong. It's amazing, but I've gone through and rewatched all the films in the last couple of days, and I have to say, if the last film had it turned up to like a 10, this film's blown it off the scale and turns it up to like a 100. It's like off the scale. That is how insane and that is how incredible everything in this movie is.
It is huge. It is a spectacle.
It's bigger, better, faster, harder.
It's like a cinema marathon. I don't know how to explain it. Like it is just such a beautiful thing to experience in a cinema. And that's what I'm going to say first and foremost, because my goodness, if you don't go and see this film in a cinema, God damn you.
Yeah, I don't care what movies you're into. I don't care whether this has any interest to you. You could be someone who goes, oh, I hate Tom Cruise because he jumped on a couch once like 10 years ago. Whatever, I don't care. Go and watch this movie. Go and support this movie, because this is the blockbuster. It's not a good block. It is the blockbuster. Everything that we complain about not being done in modern blockbusters, this movie's gone, yo, we're actually going to go out and do that. The action is pretty much all practical. Like, I'm going to say 95% practical. And even when it does turn to visual effects, they are excellent and they are blended in to the practical action. It has great writing, great dialogue. We've already said that it already has great characters. It already has that part down. But everything that we seem to complain about in modern blockbusters, they don't seem to deliver. This movie delivers and then some.
Here's an example of me in the cinema. Literally, the skydiving sequence is all I will say. I leaned forward in my chair and sat like this the whole time.
I was laughing, like that giddy laughing.
I couldn't believe it. Like, I was like, this is... How is this happening?
I think that is the most insane thing, like, stunt-wise, I have probably ever seen. Like, the stunts here aren't as chaotic as some movies that have, like, 1,000 different things going on at once. This movie just has really focused things. It sticks to a character. This movie probably has the best chase scene I have seen in years, if not the best chase scene. Absolutely incredible. It's just a case of really clear choreography. And I want to talk about Christopher McQuarrie, because this guy already proved with the last film that he's really clear when it comes to setting up something and paying it off. He makes sure he gives you all the relevant information to then let a scene unfold. And he's really respectful of the kind of information we can consume as an audience. He treats us like we're smart. This is smart action direction. But here, this guy just totally elevated everything in a way that, like, he's literally using every tool at his disposal to make the best action he can. The sound design in this movie is incredible. There's parts where, like, it has an incredible soundtrack. Let's talk about that for a second. The soundtrack is by Lorne Balfe, who I think that's how you pronounce his name. He's a frequent collaborator of Hans Zimmer. You hear that here? Did I just say Hans Zimmer?
You did.
Hans Zimmer. And, like, the music here, like, I just...
ridiculous. It delivers everything you need to. And it's just like, hello.
We complain about blockbusters not having memorable soundtracks. This one was instantly burned into my brain. Obviously, it's going to use that iconic Mission Impossible theme, but it really goes to some incredibly inventive places. I think some people are going to realize that some parts of this soundtrack are similar to other movies that have come before, but it just reshapes them.
Look, it finds new flavour. Put it this way. It's like you're going around to your mate's place and you're ready and it's butter chicken night and you're going to have butter chicken.
Analogy.
Here we go. Analogies with J101. Here we go. And you're about to have butter chicken and you're thinking, oh my goodness, this is the best butter chicken ever. But they change up the seasoning. They add a few extra flavours in, maybe in a little bit of lime. I don't know, something real wacky. You don't expect it. You eat it and it is absolutely incredible.
And it's the best thing ever.
It's the best thing ever. And that's what this soundtrack is for this film. It's new flavours and it's so exciting to see and hear. Great analogies with J101. I don't eat chicken, but sure.
See you guys next lesson. Did you just have to throw in like a vegan thing then?
Well, I just had to say I don't eat chicken because...
You're on your way there.
Well, for other people, if they, they might not like butter chicken and then you can just cut this part off now.
Where were we?
We're talking about sound. Sorry, here we go.
Sound design. So this movie actually lets that soundtrack that we've made a big point here that it is fantastic. It lets it fall away and just focuses on some very creative, like, environmental sound design. Like, there's parts where, let's just say, there's a bike sequence where it uses the location the bike is in to actually generate a soundtrack out of the environment. That is... Like, I think that was almost the moment. This movie had been doing amazing stuff the whole way through. I was absolutely wrapped with the sheer quality. But in that point there, I was like, that shit is next level. This is honestly like a next level movie. It's not transcendent of the action genre. It's very firmly in the action genre. But it is the peak This is the peak of it.
For a film that has so many unbelievable sequences and done by practical effects and things that you just go, oh my God, how can anyone do that? Somehow McQuarrie allows for this beautiful sense of immersion. So many action films just don't have that these days. When you're watching them, you're kind of just watching explosions or you're watching characters run through fire or do ridiculous things. Here, you actually feel a part of the scenes. You feel a part of this chaotic nature that is Mission Impossible.
Mission Impossible.
Yeah, Mission Impossible.
Because it's bitchin' impossible. Oh, God. My eyes are burning, my ears are, oh God. This movie really works to keep every single part of its spectacle relative to those characters. It's all about putting us in their shoes, in their perspective. Sure, there's a lot of scenes where we're kind of distanced from them, but there's a lot of stuff where it's like, yo, they went the extra distance to get us on the inside of that action sequence. And that shit is crazy. And while we're talking about that, I want to talk about the cinematography by Rob Hardy, who now has the 2 best looking films of the year under his belt, also with Annihilation. This is a gorgeous looking movie. It looks very different to the previous Mission Impossible films because the lighting has this really kind of soft texture to it. It uses a lot of harmonious colors where we're seeing color palettes where scenes are all kind of shades of orange or all kind of shades of gray, shades of blue. It kind of works in this very, very creative way and it's honestly just stunning.
And I think, look, before this film, my favorite Mission Impossible film was Mission Impossible 3. I absolutely adore it. I have so much fun with it. It's dark and it's got so much flavor. But here, what we get, right, is we watch these Mission Impossible films because we watch a team try and do the impossible. And what we get here is an entire cast and crew try to achieve the impossible with a film. And I think they've done it.
They did it.
They've done it, and that is absolutely remarkable.
I think we've made it pretty clear that Mission Impossible Fallout is at the absolute top of its game. This is the peak. This really is one of the best action movies of all time, and I'm not overstating things here. I think if you were to walk out of this movie and say it was anything less than fantastic, you were probably missing part of how excellent it is. This truly is the epitome of what a blockbuster should be. It is utterly incredible. It is amazing. It is so creative and lively and energetic, and just everything about this movie is honestly like, I just...
It's really like a zzz, isn't it, Bailey?
That's what it got me like. I was like, it's just a straight shot of adrenaline to like the eyeballs and to the actual balls, and it was like, it was just freaking me out, man. Like, it's actually just like, I mean,
Mission Impossible.
Go and tell everyone to see this movie because it's like, you go and watch this movie and get everyone else you know to go and watch this movie because honestly, I just... So those were our thoughts on Mission Impossible Fallout. Have you seen it yet?
Did you like it?
Did you hate it?
Did you like this video?
Of course you did.
Crave more banter.
If so, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel down there somewhere.
And don't forget to check us out on Instagram and Twitter at Breaking Banter.
And you can also support us on Patreon. That kind of keeps this whole channel going, so we super appreciate that kind of thing. See you guys in the next video.